I welcome each one of you to a subject which is very dear to us, housing, which is one of the three necessities to an individual: food, clothes and shelter. Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association has done a good cause by keeping this knowledge sharing on redevelopment process, on conveyance, which is one of the necessity to begin a redevelopment. In this half day, we will have a very fair idea about a redevelopment. In India, about 1,50,000 cooperative housing societies are there. More than 50% are in Maharashtra. In Mumbai itself, 20,000 housing societies needs redevelopment. Now, what is a redevelopment? As the word itself says, we are remaking our house, we are remaking a building in which our flat is situated. Now, the redevelopment is a necessity. When the building becomes old, the water pours from the upper terrace, from the upper floor. I have seen the house, including one of my old house, which is in the prime location in Andheri West, that I have to keep buckets above the bed in rainy days in the house. So redevelopment leaves many benefits to the housing society and each member of the housing society. It gives a new premises to live in. We need a change. It gives a lift facility because normally an old building will be without lift. It gives a larger area to live in, as the now a family, each one needs a space to live in. It gives a reasonable corpus to bear an additional expenditure. And redevelopment is an easy process if each one is a cooperative, as the name cooperative housing society suggests. But I have seen the cooperation is missing in many of cooperative housing society, and the root cause is a ego of an individual and sometimes the disbelief among the managing committee members. I would earnestly request all participants that each one should actively participate in the redevelopment process. Managing committee members should involve other than managing committee members who are enthusiastic and who want to assist managing committee members in the redevelopment process. As we know, before we begin redevelopment process, the government of Maharashtra has issued an order 3rd January 2009 under section 79A of the Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act 1960. It is desirable, speaking hyper technically, this order is a recommendatory, but it is in the interest of everyone to call a special general body meeting, to have a recording of the proceedings, to have a project management consultant. Having good consultant, having good project management consultant with all multidisciplinary professionals, chartered accountant, architect, structural engineer, one expert in development control regulations, and an advocate. So that will go a long way, and project management consultant should be kept from zero stage till the building completion certificate is achieved. I have seen some of the housing societies who keep project management consultant till the redeveloper is selected is not a right approach. So to summarize, the redevelopment should be done as early as possible. I have seen when differences arises, even after the part money is received from redeveloper, the project do not go ahead till 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. The losers are the members, because as the time passes, the redevelopment cost increases. And we must understand, in this world, in this life, everyone is there to make a reasonable profit. They cannot make super profit, they cannot cheat the housing society. So to the extent when project management consultant, redeveloper is making a reasonable profit, we should not mind it. We should not negotiate to an extent that redeveloper, in the enthusiasm of getting a contract, stretches himself so much that there is no margin left for him, and then there is a delay in project, somewhere compromising in other facility which he provides. Now friends, having explained you the advantages of redevelopment, in the same breath and at the same time, we must know what precautions we should take, because in every good thing there is a complementary precautions to be taken. So the first precaution we should take is that there should be a person who is a bridge between the project management consultant, redeveloper and housing society, because managing committee members are occupied with their own vocations. So we should have one redevelopment manager who should look through the whole process. He must visit the site once in a week. We should call meeting of all members once in a month or maybe once in 2 months to apprise them what are the development which has taken place. There should be a transparency in our working, so that each member has a faith in whatever is happening. We must create a record. In accounting, we say in Hindi, पहले लिख बाद में दे. So that means there should be a documentation of whatever is done, and cooperative housing society is sort of a public forum to the extent of the members of the housing society. So there should be a minutes of the meetings. There should be an approval of whatever task is executed between 2 meetings. The post task which are planned should also be discussed in the meeting of the members. At the time of appointing redeveloper, like how we say due diligence, the best example I can see in matrimonial cases, before the engagement is done, either from boy side or girl side, we do a due diligence, that the other side, what is the status, what the boy or girl is doing respectively, for whom we are looking for, what is the past record. Similarly, for a redeveloper, we should know whether it is partnership firm, whether it is a company, whether it is a sole proprietor, what is the manpower, what are the earlier project executed, what are the timeline. We can ask for all these details, and we can do our own survey, the physical visit to the projects which has been completed, what are the suggestions given by them, reputation, financial strength. Otherwise we will have hiccups in our redevelopment work. Similarly, we should execute a development agreement with the redeveloper. We should see that as comprehensive. In drafting we always say draft an agreement in such a manner that dispute is bound to take place. The differences are bound to happen. So what are the alternatives? Provide for an arbitration clause when there are differences, because neither party can afford a litigation and go to the court. There should be an individual agreement. We must read. I am a chartered accountant and I have invested in few properties, but I must admit before each one of you, before I invested, I have not read the agreement. Some property which I have taken, I feel they were ownership property, but they are on the leased land. So before we sign any document, we must read the whole document, see whether it is comprehensive. We must insist on a bank guarantee from a redeveloper. There should be a memorandum of understanding which should be comprehensive. Similarly, the redevelopment agreement must provide See, redeveloper is like a contractor. He is a service provider to the housing society. He is not the owner. He is not our boss. He is our friend, philosopher, guide and service provider. So whatever job redeveloper is doing, he is doing on behalf of cooperative housing society. So all approvals, there should be a timeline provided in the redevelopment agreement itself, and as and when some application is submitted by a redeveloper, simultaneously a copy must come to the housing society. Whatever approval is received by the redeveloper, immediately a copy must come to the housing society, like IOD, completion certificate, occupation certificate, compliance of all development control regulations. Redeveloper also should be having a battery of professionals, architects, legal professionals. So whatever maximum advantage is available under the DCR, Development Control Regulations 1991, like the recreation facilities, the parking facilities, which are not counted in FSI, all whatever obligations landowner has, like creating the compliances with fire safety, the disaster safety, all those need to be complied. We should see that all this we put a responsibility of a redeveloper in the development agreement. In fact, we should provide that even after the occupation certificate is received, for next 1 year or 2 years, if there is any leakage or if there is any damage to the property, or there is an inferior service provided by the redeveloper, then redeveloper must compensate that. We must provide for some retention money or some bank guarantee for this guarantee period of 2 years. Friends, this is in very nutshell. I have talked about the redevelopment advantages and precautions to be taken by cooperative housing society. This is the property of each member of the housing society, and housing society is a collective terminology for the all members of the housing society, and we have put lot of labor to earn that money which we have put in our house. So see that you get a maximum advantage of the law created by state government. Thank you. I thank Maharashtra Societies Welfare Association